Now that you mentioned them closing their storefront down, actually 2 other guests who came on Commerce, same thing, Decium, which is like skincare and stuff. And then I think it was Barabee. They're like a weighted blanket company, but they both shut it down because they were like, not only can you buy from us earlier, but we also rarely do discounts, first of all. If we do, you know that we're real. Like these are real discounts and they're not actually going to happen all over again. But their thing was more around like sustainability, and they were trying to like prevent impulse buying, which I thought was like really interesting. You haven't heard of many brands who are like, we don't want your money because first, we don't want to deal with returns. We don't even think impulse buying, like that's a good thing. And like, that's our moral standards. Just like we're closing down because we don't want people of that nature in that mindset coming and buying our products, which I thought was a really interesting angle that obviously like not everyone's going to do, but interesting for those 2 companies who mentioned that. I think that was last year they did that too.
Yeah, you'll continue to see that. I would say in the eco space or the outdoor space, especially where there's brands that like Patagonia, Cotopaxi, REI that encourage the outdoors. They kind of all are on that same ethos where they talk about Black Fridays. It's not what you should be investing your time in. You should be investing your time in family. You should be going out and doing things, preferably in nature. And it's had 0 impact as far as anyone could tell on their sales. That's what you'll see in the future. Like there's going to be more brand loyalty to the products that people love. This is like the year, I believe Taylor Holiday from Common Thread Collective, the CTC. He's on Twitter all the time talking about how like what's going to really happen in the recession. And now that the ad buying or ad tracking has been diminished by Apple, right? Apple arguably has taken away billions of dollars of Mark Zuckerberg's net worth. You can follow that on the news because now people can't figure out how effective their ads are. He talks about how like brands that used to rely on cheap traffic or cheap advertising gimmicks to get people to buy things that probably they don't need. You add the recession, you add the fact that there's trackability now. These direct-to-consumer businesses that popped up seemingly overnight, they kind of might go away. They might go away pretty quickly as well because they can't run a sustainable business anymore.
Yeah, they haven't had to. I mean, that's what he was kind of also saying is like they were just able to just keep spending a lot of money. And so, like your whole method, the whole platform that you built your company on is now gone, or like it doesn't work the same way.
You add a couple things, right? Like the last 2 years of pent up online demand because of us being forced to stay in our homes. People had stock market growth during that period of time. So people felt confident with their money. So now you have no demand. You have over ordering because people were scared of these supply chain shortages. So there are people going to be overstocked like crazy. And then you have the bigger problem is really personal spending. There's just less dollars family has to buy gifts. And so this year, you're probably going to see, I think a lot of D2C brands are going to go out of business.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm not the only one predicting that. I think there's going to be a lot.
I've heard that a lot. Like, yes, people will see what actually has a real business and what does not. But I would love to see a case study of companies who just opt out of Black Friday versus the ones who stay in it and kind of see like what is the, growth. Because the one thing I remember is one of my guests was telling me that the lifetime value of a customer who comes in through Black Friday or a deal or anything like that is so much lower. And it takes so much more work to like bring them back that I'm just wondering like, what's the point? And like not what's the point? Some people are probably like, hey, that's where a lot of my sales come from. But I'm like, with what's happening with the economy, margins are like shrinking. I mean, I've had so many people talking about like, we don't have any way to discount because we're already eating so much more of the cost these days to try not to increase the price. So how can I go down when like inflation's making everything go up? So I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know if it can be a thing, at least over this next year or two, while we're in this kind of environment.
That would be a flex move. Only a couple brands could pull it off. But like, I would love Apple to be like, yo, Black Friday iPhones, double the price. You know what I mean? Twice as expensive. iPhone black. You know what I mean? Like where it's like all like a nice new finish. Matte black. Yeah. There's a couple of brands that could probably flex their muscle. Like luxury brands, of course, could do it. Lambo could launch their Black Friday edition Lambo. It's like a different color or something. It's
we should have our own
expensive.
Like marketing agencies that's just like, okay, everyone else is going down, you go up. We're going for the high road. We're going to double the prices of everything.
We're tripling prices today. It's like, yo, if you can't afford it, you're poor. Suck it. You know what I mean? Like there's probably luxury brands out there that could probably do that. But for the most part, when dollars tighten, people, of course, tighten their own spending and they look at what they need and what they really, really want. And like some of my friends always talk about like people only pick their first choice. So maybe when you had discretionary income, you would buy product 2 and 3. But now that you might not, you're only going to pick number 1. So 2s and 3s are going to be really, really hard to move any product really, I think, this season.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.